Rastafari. You are live. You are live with your boy Rastafari, King David. Well, at the least for these exercises. Like, share, and subscribe. You know what it is. You heard the spiel and all that. Your boy been on I've been on YouTube for about 13 years now. I think I got like 28 followers. But that's all right. I serve a God of truth, and that's part of the reason why we're doing this is to put the truth out there. Thanks for tuning in. Yeah, I want to warm up your Sunday. Got to keep it positive and all that. Start the week off proper, like. And today I'm gonna be talking about Judgment Day, and you know what it means to me. You wouldn't necessarily have to agree with everything, but letting you know how this thing goes. Again, I'm Rastafari, King David. Got a couple of other names. Adam El Daoud, the Father King. Adam Ta'el Daoud, the Father King. And I am a champion of truth, justice, and universal law. And you may ask, what is truth, justice, and universal law? Well, it's a concept called the Ma'at. And the Ma'at speaks of truth, justice, balance, peace, and a whole host of other things. But what happens is a lot of times we're not familiar with the terminology and the symbols that are put in front of us. And due to that, we don't make the connections or the full 360. I know it sounds a little bit that's a bit confusing and all, but long story short, what happens is in order to make it to the next level, you can't just know the information. You have to practice the information. Again, in order to get into the universal city, the holy city, you must walk the Ma'at. You must walk in balance, truth, love, and all of those things I mentioned before. So you may ask again, how does all of that work? Well, the law of Ma'at, or the laws of the universe, dictate how the universe operates. So what you have to do is get the information, internalize the information, and start practicing the information. So once you in practice of the Ma'at, that loosens the binds of confusion and allows universal consciousness to manifest in your actions. And when we're speaking of actions, that's how you judge the man. So what happens is, in order to make it to the inner sanctuary, you have to prove who you are by reciting the 42 laws or negative confessions of Ma'at. And I'm gonna give you a couple of those negative confessions because they read like the Ten Commandments and all that, but I don't want to go too far and heavy on that one because I got a lot more to share with you about from places that might be a little bit more familiar. So like some of the terminology reads like, I have risen as a living being because of truth and justice from the day of coldness of blood and wounded at the burial. I'm flipping through the Egyptian book of Coming Forward by Light. I'm gonna have a lot more of this for you. And we're talking about the land of Rasta, the universal city, the holy city. And in order to make it into the land of Rasta, the holy city, the inner temple, you may not be guilty of the 42 negative confessions. And they read like, I have not done what is wrong. I have not robbed with violence. I have not done violence to anyone or anything. I have not committed theft. I have not murdered man or woman. I have not defrauded. I have not acted deceitfully. I have not robbed the things that belong to the Most High. I have told no lies. I have not stolen food. I have not lied on anyone. I have attacked no one. I have not slaughtered food set apart for the Most High. I do not act in a jealous and envious manner. I have not defiled farmlands. I don't eavesdrop. I have not spoken against anyone. I have not allowed myself to become angry without cause. I have not committed adultery. I have not committed any sin against my own purity. I have not violated sacred times and seasons. I have not done that which is abominable. I have not uttered fiery words. I have not been a man or a woman of anger. I have not stopped my ears from listening to the words of right and wrong. I have not stirred up strife, and I have not caused terror, and I have not struck fear into any man. I have not caused anyone to weep. I have not lusted or committed fornication. I have not avenged myself or been exceedingly vengeful. I have not worked grief. I have not abused anyone. I have not acted insolently or with violence. I have not judged hastily. I have not transgressed or angered the Most High. I have not multiplied my speech, talked too much. I have not done harm or evil. I have not worked treason or curses on the king, disrespected the king. I have never befouled water. I don't pollute. I have not spoken scornfully. I have not cursed the Most High. I have not behaved with arrogance. I have not been overwhelmingly proud or sought for distinctions for myself. I have never magnified my condition beyond what is fitting for my wealth. I stay in my lane. I have never thought evil or slighted the Most High in my native town. Those are the 42 laws of Ma'at. They vary a lot, but the theme and the concept behind them are right there. I'm reading this from the Book of Enlightenment, and that one came from Muada Ashby. My man. Hey, listen, I ran across this dude early in the year, picked up a gang of his books. I'm gonna reach out to him shortly. Muada ask, and if you see this video, thanks, bro. I appreciate you a lot. you pass a lot of enlightenment down to your boy. But anyway, the 42 laws of Ma'at, and if you can say that that's how you live, then you are welcome into the holy city, the New Jerusalem, Rasta, the land of Rasta, and all of that. However, if you cannot say or prove that you follow the 42 laws of Ma'at, then you are not accepted into the new city. The reason why the world is in the state that it's in today is that the majority of the leaders do not follow the laws of the universe in the Ma'at, which is truth and justice. The leaders of our governments are unworthy to lead the people because they haven't proven beyond a shadow of a doubt that they practice truth and righteousness. So moving forward, we're introducing a new city. It's not really a new city, but it's a new city for people that's not familiar. Of Rasta, the holy city, the New Jerusalem. And it's symbolic of the body, which is the temple. So what you need to do is identify yourself as part of the city. That said, you also have to process the Osiris myth. I have a couple of there are a couple of videos that got up there on Osiris. I'm going to be going hard and heavy in Osiris as well. The myth is symbolic. Osiris represents our higher selves and the challenges that we face living life. All the aspects in the myth represent an aspect of self. So you have Osiris, you have Isis, you have Ra, you have Set, you have Horus, you also have Hathor. Each one of these names represents an energy of the self. And the Osiris myth gives you an example of how to work with that energy of self to gain mastery over the self. It's right there on the pyramid walls, but it's really difficult for you to process. And a lot of times people will see it, write it down, take pictures and all, and still not be clear on what they're witnessing. Towards the end of BC, beginning of AD, 0 AD, the Greeks were heavy in Egypt. So, if you hear the term Egypt, that doesn't necessarily mean person from Africa. It means Europeanized Kemet. Because before the Greeks came, the place was called Kemet. And there was a place in Kemet called, I want to say, Hekuta, the house of Ptah, which was in Memphis. Greeks came to Kemet, took in learning, and identified the whole place as the house of Ptah, aka Egypt. So when we're learning about Palestine and Israel, the Hebrews and the Jews, this was located in Kemet, North Kemet to be exact. The northern part of the place were where the Hebrews or Habarus were located. The southern part was what they called Egypt. All of it was Kemet. And all this was around 2000 BC or so. Stick with me, it's a reason why I'm going here. So the people in the area were familiar with the Osiris concept, but they didn't know how to process it. So it had all types of groups at the time. It's still all types of groups. And what they would process was the mystery. And the mystery, if you break the word up, it's my story. And the mystery is my story of the self. Meaning, as I mentioned before, you have to identify with the Osiris in yourself and manifest that. That's the mystery. So, the people in the area were familiar with Osiris, but didn't understand the mystery. And from that point on, we have his story. His story. His story started right when the Christian era began. Because it's the story of confusion. That's why they don't understand the mystery. I hope you got that. Hope I was clear with that. You know, I got to look back, make sure I did that right, because I don't want to confuse you or anything. But now that we got that part of the story down, I'm going to show you the correlation here in the Bible. And I'm looking at John 12 or Yohanan, depending on the Bible that you got. Because the letter J just came out within the last 200, 300 years. So the name John, it wasn't pronounced like that because John, the J didn't exist. J could be an I or a Y. And it can be pronounced as Y or I. So the name was Yohanan. Jan. And I'm reading from Yohanan 12, and it says, accordingly, Yeshua, 6 days before Pesach, came to Beth Anna, well, where, and if you, depending on the Bible that you have, it might say Lazarus or something like that. We're in John 12, and it says, accordingly, I got another Bible offhand. Let's see. Yeah, I can do have a Bible offhand. I'm gonna see if I can find it in a different spot because I got a special Bible. I gotta give a special shout out to my main man, Daryl in Australia. Hit me off with this fly Bible, but my Bible it has Hebrew in it. The names are a lot better than they're supposed to be because the Bible that we have is a real bad copy. But I'm gonna read it from King James Version as well. John chapter 12. And it says, Then Jesus, 6 days before the Passover, came to Bethany, where Lazarus was which had been dead, whom he raised from the dead. That's not the exact same thing. Yeah, it's not the exact same thing. It says Lazarus was raised from the dead. Okay, now that's a chop up of the term El Azar or El Asar. That's a reference to Osiris. And it says here, Eleazar was who had died and who he raised from the dead. So I'm just gonna stick in Osiris in there because it's giving me a headache trying to spit this thing up. Okay, so it says, so they made him a supper there, and Martha served, while Osiris was one of those who sat at the table with him. So this isn't literal; it's symbolic. So we're talking about the aspects of self taking in nourishment. So they made him supper there, and Martha served, while Osiris was one of those who sat at the table with him. They don't explain this fully. They really don't explain this fully. And it's really difficult to see what's going on here. But we were speaking about truth and justice and ma'at, where they put labels on things when it's actually energy. So it's the energy of truth and justice and wisdom. Now, if you look at a lot of the iconography from Egypt, you'll see the king, the pharaoh, between two women with wings. You'll see the pharaoh between two women with wings. And they didn't know what they was looking at when they saw that. But the women represent feminine energy in Ma'at. Again, the women represent the divine woman energy in Ma'at. And the reason why there are two of them is that one represents the overarching, the spiritual aspect of women, and the other represents the physical aspect of women. So when you have balance in Ma'at, not only do you have balance within yourself, you have balance within the male and female. You also have balance between earth and sky. That's how all of this works. And it's all represented in the form of Ma'at and those two females, right? So those two females could be Asar and Nebet. Aset, Isis, and Nebet are those females who represent the Ma'at of universal divine truth, justice, and balance through the woman. I hope I'm not confusing you because I know I might have confused myself. But point I'm getting at is while we're reading, if you look in the Bible, it's like 3 different Marys in the Bible, and that gets really confusing because what they're attempting to do is symbolize Ma'at, the higher goddess and the lower goddess. So you have the 2 females who's always accompanying Christ. That's the spirit of balance in Ma'at. So it says here, Miriam took a pound of costly perfume of nard and anointed the feet of Yeshua and wiped his feet with her hair, and the house was filled with the fragrance of the perfume. Then a great crowd of people learned that Yeshua was there, and they came not on the account of Yeshua, but also to see Osiris, whom he had raised from the dead. And the chief priest resolved to kill Osiris as well, because on account of him, many of the people went away and believed in Yeshua. The people did not understand this, but Yeshua was esteemed when they remembered that this was written about him and that they had done this to him. Therefore, the crowd who were with him when he called Osiris out of his tomb and raised him from the dead were bearing witness. On account of this, the crowd also met with him because they heard that he had done the sign. I thought I was looking to be lot more confusing and all that, but look, it's right there. It's right there. Every other statement, they was mad at him because he raised his higher self in Osiris and showed everybody else how to do it, and that's why they wanted to kill him. Real easy. That's in John. Oh yeah, John 11 and 12. I skipped over on the best part, but that was a you can go check that out and see what it means for you. Yeah, I'm gonna read this. It says, a certain one was sick, Osiris, in the village of Mary and her sister Martha. They're talking about Rasta, Osiris, Isis, and Nebet. The sister sent him, saying, Master, see, he whom you love is sick. But when Yeshua heard, he said, this sickness is not of death, but for the esteem of El, so that the son of El might be esteemed by it. He's telling you that he's not dead. You're mistaken, and this is an opportunity for growth. Now, Yeshua loved Isis and Nebet and Osiris. When he heard that he was sick, he stayed at the place where he was for 2 more days. The people asked him, are you not going back? Yeshua said, I will go back, Our friend Osiris has fallen asleep, but I'm going there to wake him up. And then they ask questions signifying that they weren't familiar with it. Yeshua spoke about his death. Master, if he had fallen asleep, how can he recover? But Yeshua spoke about his death, whereas they thought that he spoke of taking rest and sleep. So Yeshua said to them plainly, Osiris is dead, and for your sake, I am glad I was not there in order for you to believe, but let us go to him. And Thomas, Yeshua's twin brother, said to him, let us also go, so that we will die with him. Therefore, Yeshua arrived, and he found that he had already been 4 days in the tomb. Isis, when she heard that Yeshua was coming, met him, but Nebbit was waiting in the house. Isis said to Yeshua, Master, if you had been here, my brother would not have died. But even now I know that whatever you might ask of El shall give you. Yeshua said to her, your brother will rise again. Isis said to him, I know that he shall rise again in the resurrection at the last day. Having said this, she went away and called to her sister Nebbit secretly, saying, the teacher is here and calls you. And when she heard, she rose up quickly and came to him. And Yeshua had not yet come into the village, but was in the place where Martha met him. Therefore, the people who were with her in the house and were comforting her, when they saw that Nebbit rose up quickly and went out following her, saying, she is going to the tomb to weep there. Isis, therefore, when she came to Yeshua and saw him, she fell down at his feet, saying to him, Master, if you had been here, my brother would not have died. Yeshua, therefore, when he saw her weeping, he groaned in spirit and was troubled. So they took away the stone where the dead man was laid. And Yeshua lifted up his eyes and said, Father, I thank you that you have heard me. And I know you always hear me, but because of the crowd standing by, I said this in order that they believe you sent me. And when he said this, he cried with a loud voice, Osiris, come out. And he who died came out, bound feet and hands wrappings, and his face was wrapped with cloth. Said to them, loosen him and let him go. It's a real. I mean, that's almost like that should be like blasphemy. How they messed that one up right there. That they really balls that one up. But John 11 and John 12 is a direct presentation of the Osiris myth. The characters in the play, because that's what it is. It's a play. The character in the play was Yeshua, Osiris, Isis, and Nebbit. However, they presented it in total confusion, calling Isis Miriam, Nebet, Mary, or something like that. All the names are confused and all that. You have to look at the stories symbolically in order to get an appreciation for them, which is the point of this whole spiel. It's Judgment Day. And every day is Judgment Day. And you prove who you are by your actions. If your actions are righteous, then you have righteous thinking. You move in righteousness. You understand all things are a reflection of the Most High. You are a reflection of the Most High. I am a reflection of the Most High. And right now, I'm talking to myself and you, because there's nothing outside of us. That's the foundation of the universe. That's the law of Ma'at. All are one. Hope that helped. You on your journey to enlightenment. And I hope you're on a journey to enlightenment, because if you're not, you probably don't want to be paying attention to this channel. There's other channels you want to check out, but this channel is for the sincere aspirant, not necessarily clout chasing here. I'm promoting a new way of life, a new way of living life more abundantly. You hear me? And it starts with truth, justice, and universal law. So I just gave you universal laws. Thanks for tuning in to your boy. Rastafari King David, just about to sign off. Going to be back next week on Sunday, working on the Friday broadcast too. This is the spiritual spot. Fridays be going hard and heavy on the events for the week. Thanks for tuning in to your boy. You can get me on Twitter at Rasta King David. I'm on Instagram, Rastafari King David. And the website is rastaman.com. I'm going to be updating that, getting it up to snuff, and putting that out to everybody and telling you a little bit more about what we got going on. Oh yeah, don't forget about Talking to Kings. I'm doing that with the other half, the wisdom half, and all of that. You want to check that one out. That's Talking to Kings on Twitter, Talking to Kings on Instagram, and Talking to Kings at Gmail for those contacts and all that. So like, share, and subscribe. You know, I'm gonna need a couple more. I need a couple of more subscribers so I can do more work. I mean, I've been on here forever, got like 28 followers. Please like, share, and subscribe. I mean, can I get some followers, please? You know, so I can do a little bit more work for y'all. Thanks for tuning in. Signing off. Deuces. See you next week.